Hey folks! Oh my gosh. What happened to my transition scene? Oh my goodness gracious. Everything's a mess tonight already. Oh well. Hey, it's Ryan here. Mista Rau's Gaming. Welcome to another lovely Tuesday evening stream where I am so very excited to get things played tonight. And welcome to the chat. Vincent, as always, he's always coming on in. Tyler, welcome back, Tyler. So you look like you're becoming a good old regular here on the Mista Rau Gaming channel here. Welcome, gentlemen, and anybody else who's coming on in to take a look at a little bit of the newest Stonemaier Games production, Apiary by Connie Vogelmann. And I have been actually having a decent amount of fun with this one. It's not doing anything super groundbreaking in terms of game mechanics, but man, oh man, it's actually pretty interesting. So I can't wait to show that. I can't wait to show that off tonight. Let's take a look here. What's been going on lately in the channel? I'm just waving around my keyboard, just like just waving around my keyboard, just like it's nothing in here. What we got here? What is the over under on how long before your internet provider does you bad? Hopefully not. You know what? I even triple checked my work tonight, and I triple checked to make sure that the internet speeds are running at their proper levels. Yeah, I have no idea what happened last week. It was just one of those things. Because then, what was it? It was Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night. Then I tried it again with Little Rau, and we're doing Barren Park, and everything just worked seamlessly fine there. So fingers crossed, because I've got ourselves a good one. Luckily, I was able to do all of the stuff for oh my gosh, or the Guild Academies. Luckily, I was able to still do everything for Guild Academies proper. I did some filming of I did a how to play video for Guild Academies of Valeria, and then I did do a proper solo playthrough. That one took me a while. So here's some funny stories about that solo playthrough that I finally did. So I did the how to play, and then I did a solo playthrough. I sent it off to David at Daily Magic Games, and I said, you just wanted to give it a quick, before I release it into the world, I want to make sure they do it good. Did I get all the rules correct? And that very first solo video, he's like, okay, I only watched about 30 to 40 minutes of it, and there were some critical errors. And I was like, oh no, not critical. So I kiboshed the project, and then I just sat down one evening and I decided to film it again. And I was ready. I'm like, oh man, okay, the rules just were humming this time. It was all perfect. It was fine. It was about an hour and a half. It was a 90-minute playthrough video. It was absolutely beautiful, perfect. Go back to watch it back, and like 10 seconds in, my microphone had cut out. So I had 10 seconds of audio, and then there was nothing for the rest of like the 90-minute playthrough. And I was like, what happened? Oh my gosh. So then I sat down for another night, and I recorded the solo playthrough video, and that's the one that is out on the channel now, proper. so that video, that series was plagued right from the beginning. I'm glad that I got to play it. I'm glad that I got to play it so many times. It is actually a pretty wonderful game. I really enjoy it. But I'm just glad that the actual commitment video part of the project is finally done. Oh my gosh. And then other than that, we're gearing up. They're on Thursday coming up here. We're doing the Pandemic Systems games are still coming out. This week it's going to be the Fall of Rome video, which is really, I was actually really surprised on how they brought in the theme into that game and still stay true to that pandemic, the pandemic system, which is what these games are all about. And I've been finding something really cool, as in these pandemics, as I've been playing one right after the other, I'm finding that it doesn't take actually very long to learn one of these games once you've learned a couple of them already, because it is the same system. You're just kind of trying to figure out what are the cool little nuances of this version of the game, because everything else flows and follows that very same recipe. Really, really neat series of games. I'm glad that I'm actually doing it, that I'm actually committed to myself to actually playing through them. They've been a lot of fun. Other than that, what else is coming up here? Coming up this Friday, for any of the local Saskatoon board gamers that are out there, coming up this Friday, there is the game night at Amazing Stories, hosted by yours truly. So come on out. We're going to be playing a whole bunch of Phil Walker Harding games. I own quite a few of them. He's one of my favorite designers. I want to show off his designs and and games. So come on out if you're in the Saskatoon area this Friday night, because we're going to have a lot of fun. Other than that, it's just been regular busy around the Rau household here. We just had the long weekend here for in lieu of Remembrance Day here, and Sundays are full of, like, usually weekends and everything like that is full of we're doing the indoor soccer this time around, so we're quite busy on Sundays for that one. And Vincent's asking you, is there one of those pandemic system games that caught your guard on how fun it was? So far, if I was going to rank on fun wise, I'm just going to say it's the Star Wars Clone Wars. That's probably hands down my favorite one of the bunch. And mainly because I think I like the way that the player cards actually provide you with some sort of in-game effect. You have the helmets, the trooper cards that can allow you to add on damage to the planets. Vehicles allow you to go extra spaces. I really like that aspect, and how variable the different missions, and that it comes with, like, scenarios, essentially scenarios that you have to, like, pass in order to complete the game. So I like that it includes a lot of variability in the game, and that it stays true to that pandemic system to it. So fun wise, I am really enjoying Star Wars Clone Wars. One that's taken me by surprise so far, though, is Rising Tide. Rising Tide, I find myself coming back to that one a little bit, because I'm really drawn. It was a very unique theme to me. It works very, very well. It's a rather really difficult game to actually play. Actually, in Fall of Rome is no stranger to that either, because Fall of Rome is also actually quite difficult for me at the moment. And yeah, so those ones pretty good. But I'm gonna do in the time here, I still have Iberia, which I believe has trains in it, and then I also have the World of Warcraft pandemic systems game, which I heard, and I don't know much about it. I actually don't know much about the World of Warcraft theme itself. I was never a WoW player myself, but I have heard that this Clone Wars, the Star Wars Clone Wars one, borrows lots of elements from that, from the World of Warcraft version. So I'm actually quite excited to actually play that one. And yes, Vincent, perfect. Yes, he says Rising Tide is fun. If you have a chance to check that one out, I highly recommend. That one's a really cool, unique theme on that pandemic system. All right. Well, that's a little bit of the update of what's going on here. What's coming up next week? Next week, we're going to be doing Reckland Run. It's one of the Renegade Games solo heroes, solo only games, which I believe Tyler is looking forward to. One of mine. He's been interacting with me on my social media accounts. And by the way, if you kind of notice that on my little bottom here, I have updated my social media icons. Notice that there is a lack of one of the social media icons, as I finally axed myself. I finally decided I was going to commit myself to, no, I'm deleting off Twitter or whatever it is annoying right now. I'm getting rid of it. Don't need to be on there anymore. It is 100% a dumpster fire. I am not enjoying any of the content that is being filtered my way on that one. It was just garbage. I decided, you know what? Let's start building up these other communities. I have not lost engagement overall. Actually, the channel is actually doing quite well. So that one's gone. You see that I've added on that I am on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and of course you're watching me on Twitter. Twitter. Oh my gosh. It's embedded in your brain. YouTube, here you're watching me on YouTube, but I am starting to become a lot more active on Blue Sky and on Threads. So if you want to try to find me, if you need a Blue Sky invite, because right now it's still in its invite stage, send me an email, misterraugaming@gmail.com, and I've got a bunch of invite codes that I can send people's ways that if you want to start interacting with me on Blue Sky, because that's where I'm starting to get I'm getting lots of engagement on there. I'm starting to get lots of engagement on Threads again. So, and yes, so Tyler said he was looking forward to Recklin's run here, and just got that in the mail, and we'll be reading the rule book soon. You also got a bunch of other stuff. I think you got an expansion, and you also got, I think, the playmat with that as well. And Tyler says he did the same thing. I'm assuming you're talking about deleting off your X Twitter thingamajigger. And Tyler says he's also happy to share any of his Blue Sky invites. He's got about 5 or so. I'm up to 4. I think I still got 4 left. I think I just gave a couple away just a couple days ago again. So yeah, come engage with us on there. I'm also very active on the Tabletop Express Discord channel. There is a link in the description of this video if you want to join that Discord server. I have my own space for sharing for sharing all of my stuff that's happening and what's happening on the channel, and just engaging with a really wonderful community there. So yeah, Tabletop Express Discord server, that's a great place to find me too and hang out. I'm constantly posting on there and checking it out every now and then. And so many games. Yeah, got the playmat, unique sleeves, Fallout expansion. Wow, you went all in. I like your style. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, well, why not? Let's get right to it here. I think we're just going to go over to my where did all my transitions? I lost my transitions. Because you may have also noticed that my border around the edge of the screen here, it is no longer moving / glowing or anything like that. I did put up a poll up on my some of my social medias and on my on my YouTube channel. I had gotten a message on Board Game Geek from a user. And they were saying how much they've started enjoying. They've discovered my channel, enjoyed it, but they found that the border around the edge was very distracting and actually made them quite dizzy while watching the videos. And that got me thinking. I said, okay, I remember. Actually, I can just go back to my face since I'm talking right about this. I remember when I first made it. And I asked a few people, I said, is this distracting? Is this anything like that? They're like, oh, no, you know what? It's actually kind of neat. It's kind of cool. I kind of like the ambiance feeling that it kind of gave it. And I didn't make it too fast or anything. So I was like, oh, okay. So my very small sample group of people that I asked. But then I released the poll, and there was actually a number of people. It didn't get very many votes as of yet, but there was a number of people that said that, yeah, it was a very distracting feature. So, you know what? If it's distracting for one person, I want to make my channel as inclusive and welcoming as you know. So I've just got a solid yellow, Mista Rau Gaming yellow border around the videos now, and hopefully more people will now enjoy and not get dizzy or whatever motion sickness or distracted around from the gameplay from this one. Some people were saying that it wasn't distracting at all. They liked it, but you know what? I want to bring in as many people into these videos and to this community as possible. So I think that was a small change, and I think in that changing, I think I accidentally just removed the transitions without knowing it. But those will be easy enough to add back in after the fact. Okay. And he says, all from a trade of my game of Oath. Oh, you traded away Oath. That's a big game. that game requires a little bit of kind of like commitment too. I feel so. Good on ya. I had actually sold my copy of Oath almost immediately after it came in on that. I cashed in on the Kickstarter hypeness of it. So no love loss here. The game was too much bigger than I ever thought that it was going to. He says, love the game, but it came tough to get the same group together. Yeah. And you know what? When I got it, I felt like it was the same thing. I said, I'm actually never going to get this played as often as I thought it was. I'm going to. So let's give it off at a bidder home. I'll use that money to go, purchase some other things or something other of the. Okay. Let's get into a little bit of Apiary from Stonemaier Games and designed by Connie Vogelmann. And I have to also give shout out to the art in this game. It is absolutely fantastic. It is actually one of my favorite board game artists of like all time. Juanche Moria is just nailed it. Nailed the theme, nailed the aesthetics 100% here. Vincent's also saying here he's been selling games for that reason as well. Yeah, and also because we have duplicates in our game group. That's also a big thing too. When multiple people in the same game group have the same things, is there really need for redundancy if that game's actually going to come out and get played? So we're going to take a look at Apiary here, which is I don't know, the subtitle should have been Bees in Space. Is kind of like what it could have done as a pretty unique theme here where we're these kind of like these space bee races going around collecting our resources, building out our hives, trying to just try to do a whole bunch of things before, I think, in like kind of like fortifying and a lot of different other things before this other race of bees comes and kind of like, takes us over, or before our lifespan is over. I didn't actually read too much into the theme, but I was really interested in this game mechanically, because as I was playing this game on the weekend, I realized that this has a lot of DNA of one of my favorite Stonemaier games, which is Euphoria. There's a hint. So I'm not comparing the two, but I got a euphoric feel in this game for my worker placements, to the increasing of the knowledge levels and stuff like that. Todd here, Traveling with Todd, is in the house. Hello, Mista Rau, he says, and hello, chat, and hello, Todd. How are things going with you today? We are just going to get into a little bit of Apiary from Stonemaier Games. Now, there is a lot going on, but essentially, I'm just going to kind of shift on over to my player mat here. What's essentially kind of going on here is that I have this little thing called a docking mat, and my camera kind of overlaps it, but you can see the important pieces of it. And there's just a couple things on here. First off, in this particular game, there are a big old stack of 20 different civilizations. I'm going to call them civilizations, space bees that we can be. And I have randomly selected, I'm going to play with the one that I was playing with on the weekend because I actually had a lot of fun with it. And I want to actually try to do better with it this time around. And I picked the civilization Sekro. I don't know exactly how you're going to pronounce it. But they start the game with 2 face-up recruits. I get to build 2 face-up recruits for free, and I have 2 starting workers, a level 2 and a level 1 starting worker. And you kind of see across all these circles, these are spaces where we can hold our resources. And then most of the other races, let me try to find one here. Most of the other races, let's say I'll take a look at this one here, has those green circles around their resources. Mine doesn't. Those are starting resources for those particular races. Mine doesn't start with any resources. Rather, I'm going to start with some what they refer as recruits in this game. And then I also have my hive mat here. I'm going to be playing with the log this time around, but there are a whole bunch of others. There are 4 others in the box here as well. There's the skep, the Langstroth, the war, and the Poppleton. And they all have their own little different bonuses for when you build on their spaces. This one's very resource heavy. This one's very building things at different cost reductions. This one's giving you just different bonuses. And yeah, and then this one's also just different bonuses as well. So there's lots of variability in just your player mat and your player hive. Your player faction and your player hive that you're going to play with. So I've already got them. I got my level 2 and my level 1 worker, and I apologize if they're hard to read. I've realized from camera distance that they are quite a little bit more difficult to read at a distance. There's probably something I can do just to kind of mark up those numbers later on if I decide to do things. And Todd says he does really love Stonemaier Games, and I got a feeling that you may like this one too. Yes, and it's bees in space. All right, so those are those. And we're going to be taking on the Autonoma. Whoops. I'm just going to go back to the game area here. We got the Autonoma faction mat, and there's going to be 2 different colors of workers that they're going to be working with, grays and yellows, and their controlled actions are by this deck of cards, much like how the Automa Factory likes to do their solo modes, is that the kind of tries to represent a actual real life opponent making some sort of decision of what they're going to do and carrying out those particular actions. And I'll show exactly how that is going to end up working for them. And so let's take a look at the board where everything is going to end up happening. Yeah. So Tyler here says, I do appreciate the Automa that Stonemaier Games do, i.e. Red Rising. Red Rising was enough. So they hire the work and now I'm trying to think of it. It's the fact, yeah. So yes, Vincent, thank you. The Automa Factory is a company doing such a good job. Stonemaier Games uses and hires the Automa Factory to develop the solo modes for their games. So it's not actually specifically Stonemaier Games that's actually putting out the solo mode. The solo mode is always a thought process for Stonemaier Games. They said that there has to be some sort of solo element, and they hire the Automa Factory to develop the solo modes for all of their particular games. And yes, they do a fantastic job. Actually, they also developed a solo mode for one of my favorite games of all time, Terra Mystica. They have a solo mode for Terra Mystica that you can also buy as a separate add-on expansion now for it. And it runs very much like how you would think they did the Automa for Gaia project, and they took that same system and now use it in Terra Mystica. So the Automa Factory do a fantastic job. Morton Monred, thank you, Peterson. Yes, thank you, is the head of Automa. And I am on their playtest emails. I haven't playtested something for them for quite some time. The last thing that I playtested was the solo mode for Wingspan Asia. That was the last thing that I had place tested for them what seems like forever ago now. Right before, I think it was right before COVID and the pandemic. So that seems like a pretty long time ago now. So let's take a look at everything that's happening around the board. So essentially, this is going to be a worker placement game where we're going to be sending out our bees, our bee workers here, and we're going to come to one of the main actions that there are in the game. There are a few. There is convert, carve, research, grow, explore, and advance. Those are the main actions that you're going to go, and you can kind of see there are spots for the bees to actually go. And some of them, it depends on what the value of your bee is going to be, is how powerful that action or how you can execute that particular action in this game. let's take a look at some of the more straightforward actions. Advance. Advance is a pretty straightforward action. What you'll do is you'll put your bee there. The first time you go there's the top spot here. You'll take that number, you'll add 1. And however many bees are here, let's just say I actually take my other bee and I put it in here. So this one will get bumped downwards, and then you'll add the 2 bees together. Whatever that sum value is, you'll go across the top here. So right now it says 2 plus 1 is 3. So I can actually I could buy one of these tiles in the 3 plus column or the 2 plus column. And these tiles are going to get added to our faction mats. There are costs at the bottom. The top ones are called farms, and they usually cost fiber and water. The next ones are called recruits. They always require pollen in order to buy. And then there's developments. They always require wax in order to buy them. Farms are good at storing extra resources on our board and also give us a little bit of income if we ever run out of workers and we have to recall all our workers back to our docking mat. They provide some benefits that you can gain while you do a recall action. Recruits usually just kind of modify your gameplay, where they are just going to usually maybe reduce the costs of certain actions or get you extra bonuses when you take certain actions or give you resources or bonuses if you just kind of do different certain things. So these kind of like make you a little bit more asymmetrical than the other players playing at the table. And then your developments, these usually give you a one-time really powerful benefit that you would be able to gain automatically. And then most of the tiles have some sort of point value on the actually I can do this right now. I can actually zoom in a little bit, and you can see that there's little point values in the corners here, and then so some of them will actually have points associated with them. So that is the advance action. That just advances your hive mat right away. Now I'm going to actually come back here. I'm actually going to do my player setup here now that I've talked about that, and it's because I actually I get to build 2 of these recruits for free right off the bat. And I'm actually going to do that right now because I know that there's actually 2 out here that I see that I actually wouldn't mind using. And the first one is this one here, the artisan, because it would have normally cost me 3 pollen in order to get this one. So I am not going to actually pay 3 pollen. That's quite expensive. It's worth 0 points, but I get to carve at a 1 honey discount. Carving is going to be this action I'm going to explain lastly, but these are sources of end game victory points. So I think I'm going to do that at a 1 honey discount. So, and then I get to actually build it onto my player board for free. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to put it right here in this slot, and I am going to cover up this gain 1. So I'm going to actually gain another worker at level 1 right off the bat. So I'm going to grab him. I'm going to add that to my player mat. This one should actually be a 2 for my starting. And then the other one that I'm actually going to build is I am going to do the herbalist right over here. And the herbalist says that, hey, when I take the research action, I'm going to gain 2 basic resources, either a fiber, a pollen, or a water. Every time that I do the research action, and it's worth 2 points at the end of the game. It would have cost me 2 pollen in order to build that. And I'm going to put that onto my player board right now too. And I think that I will put it, I don't need another worker. I could gain another worker right now, but I think I'm actually going to gain one of the resources. And I think the resource that I will go for is I'll put it right here. And I am going to grab myself a pollen. And I'll put that into one of my pollen storage spaces right there. Okay, so that's my setup. So now the rest of them are just going to come out here. We're just going to flip them over and refill it. And then I'll go on to keep describing some of the other actions around here. Let's do convert. convert just is exactly what it says. You get to convert resources into other resources. You can spend a card to get another card. You can pay any resource to turn it into a resource, a basic resource into another basic resource. You can send a pollen and a fiber to get a wax, and 2 pollens and a water to get a honey. Now, wax and honey, those are lucrative. Those are more valuable resources for ourselves. Those will be really, really handy to get because you need wax in order to build out the development tiles, and you need the honey in order to do the carving action and to build those tiles. There's also a couple tiles down here, and I'll explain those in a little bit. Now, whoops, put this one. Let's kind of make our way around here. There is the research action, whichever level worker you put on here, you're going to draw that many cards, and then you're going to keep one, discarding the rest of them. And now these cards, let's look at the bottom ones because I'm going to actually get to the bottom here. There is quite a number of different ways, as you can mostly see here. Ooh, boy, come on, focus. Focus. There we go. There we go. The top will be, I could actually play this card to do its action. Why are you not focusing? Let's just go to this area. There you go. I could pay, so in this case I could do the top action there, or I could actually also just discard this card for any basic resource, or at some point in time I might actually be able to plant this card, which means I get to actually tuck it underneath my player board here, and therefore I have some end of game scoring ability again at the end there. So those are what they refer to as seed cards, and you can gain a whole bunch of those throughout the game. So that's taking the research action. The grow action is, hey, I can actually get more workers, or I can actually expand out my hive. What we actually have here are there's these extra little tiles that can actually get added on to your hive mat, so there is more room for more tiles. And they have the benefit that if you ever fill these up, it says right there in the middle there, if you ever fill them up, if it's filled, you get an extra 8 points. And they also provide you with cards as well when you cover up those particular spaces. And so that's the grow action. So you can get more workers, or you can expand out your hive. Coming on up here, this is the more complicated one. This is the explore action, and that is where you get to move this really cool, fancy queen bee miniature. It's actually really quite neat and really quite cool. And they are actually going to move around this board, gaining you resources. And that's kind of a main way. If you are short on some resources, you can probably go here and you can probably gain some of those resources, or some of those lucrative resources that you ever so need. And that's going to be the explore. And underneath every one of these explore tokens is a planet that will actually also provide you with more resources. And we've got some other people coming on in the chat here. Rachel says, one question, what sort of honey do space bees make? Is this a lead up into a joke? I don't know what kind of honey space bees make. Please enlighten us, Rachel. And as we're Ryan Espin's in the group with a buzz, with a bee. Let's be friends. It's one of my favorite Simpson quotes of all time. And there's a picture of a bumblebee on it. There we go. People are just laughing at me now. And yes, you choose me. I knew that Ryan would actually be all into that one. Oh, that's classic. That's a classic. It's a classic. Oh, Rachel's like, no, she didn't actually. I thought that was a lead into a joke type thing. I actually have no. just wondered if I knew. Nope. I'm just assuming it's just gonna be space honey. Space honey? Is that the kind of thing? Spunny? So that was the explore action, and then the very last action we could take is the carve action. And my carve action is, well, it says that it has a number 4 on it, and that means you need to have a level 4 worker in order to take this action. And these tiles, I said, provide you with end of game scoring abilities, and they all cost honey. Now remember, I picked my 1 tile at the beginning of the game. I can buy these at a 1 honey discount later on. And maybe Tyler's got a joke for us. He says, "What bee went into space?" I'm just also going to assume that he has a joke here because I have no idea what kind of bee went into space. Buzz Aldrin. No, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yep. Ryan says yes, and Vincent's laughing at it. That's a good one. That's dad joke of the day worthy. And he'll show himself out the door. His job here is done. And that's the end of that chapter. That was one of my favorite sci-fi B movies. Oh my goodness gracious, the puns are rolling today. Now, this is not the only place where you can use a level 4 worker. Actually, all of the other action spaces, you can use a level 4 worker, and you get some sort of little extra benefit if you do use a level 4 worker on those pieces. For example, in the advance action, if you use a level 4 worker, you also just get straight up 3 points. In the explore action, if you use a level 4, on most of the planets, there's going to be an extra added benefit that you could actually be able to use. If you use level 4 on the grow action, which we will at some point in time, you actually get to flip over your faction tile, and then it actually upgrades and actually provides you with some more end of game scoring opportunities. Mine is that I would actually get 2 points for every one of these recruit tiles that I have in my hive at the end of the game. In research, a level 4 worker also allows you to plant one of your cards underneath your player mat here for end of game scoring. And a level 4 action here actually allows you, it says, teach a dance. And that's what these 2 tiles are for ourselves. These 2 tiles right down here are the dance of, and then you actually get to select what resources you want to use to convert into these other resources. So for example, I've set it, this game got set up that there could be 2 resources spent for a point and a wax, or 2 resources to be spent and gain ourselves a honey, which actually could be very useful because right now, basically it takes 3 resources to produce a honey. This actually only requires 2, and I can actually set that up however I want when I use my level 4 worker here. And that's essentially that's every single action that there is in the game. Now, what happens when you actually run out of workers is that actually you're gonna have to do that recall action, or I can't remember exactly what they refer to it as. They call it retrieve. All of your tokens are gonna actually come back to your player board, and they're gonna increase 1 level. Essentially, every time that they get return back to our mat, they're going to increase in a level, and therefore that's exactly how they're going to get to those level 4s, and eventually, and what happens if you can't have, because level 4 is actually the highest that you can actually go. What happens when it actually goes to level 4? Well, after level 4, then that particular bee, it's moving on. It's moving on in its life cycle. It's going to be no longer with us, but we do actually get to hibernate it. That's what these little tokens are. We're going to actually get to hibernate them, and there is this hibernation comb at the very bottom of the board here, which will allow us to gain some benefits. And there's a little bit of area control down here as well, as so if you have the most hibernation tokens in this section, you'll get 7 points. Second place gets 2 points, and then just whoever has the most in this area gets 3 points for that. Okay, I think that is pretty much all of the game. There's a couple other little things that I have not explained just yet, but I think that is enough to get us going for this particular game. Now, this is one of the very few solo modes where they actually instruct that the automa actually gets to take the first turn. And so that's why they are the lowest on the score track over here, and we're going to start 1 point ahead of them on the score track. They get to actually take the very first turn for us. So, without further ado, if you haven't done so already, hit a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hit the notification bell every time I go live on Tuesday nights and when my new videos come out almost weekly at this point. Actually, multiple times a week at this point, but that's going to slow down coming up very, very soon. So let's take a look at how the automa takes their turn. So they have this little deck of cards that actually I should probably shuffle again, since I can't remember the last time I shuffled it. Give it a couple how do you do's, and we will go on here. All right, so what you'll end up doing is you'll end up flipping over the top card, and then you're going to use it and the card that's on top of the deck as your support card for this one. So every single one is actually going to ask if it can retrieve any of its workers. So right now it says 0 if there are 0 workers. So in this case, we're looking at gray. If they had 0 workers left on their docking mat, they would do a retrieve action. Okay, they don't. The next one says they will carve if they had a level 4 worker on their faction mat. Again, they don't. We would actually do the carve action. Rather, now we're just going to take their highest gray worker, since that's the one that's in play here, and they're going to do a grow action. And so whatever level of worker that they're going to put down, they're going to get that many points. And so in this case, they're going to put down their level 3 worker into that grow action over here, and they will gain 1, 2, 3 points, just like that. And that is how they're going. Now, I forgot to mention what difficulty I am going to that I'm playing this game on. In the solo automa rule book, there is various levels of difficulty. I'm going to be playing on standard, and I'm going to be playing on standard level 3. They recommend for your first game to play standard level 2. I am just going to go standard level 3, and so it tells you what kind of starting workers they are going to work with. And if you were going to play on expert mode, some of these cards over here will refer to, if you're playing expert mode, they might gain some extra points along the way. Arwen, how are you? How you doing? Cardboard time is in the house. Looking forward to watching someone play the game that's languishing in my basement. Yes. Well, I'm glad that you chose to join in on this particular stream for that. Very much appreciated. Planet of the Apiary is your favorite B-side. oh no. Oh, these are getting too good. These are getting too good. I'm going to write. Luckily, this is being recorded so that I can actually review these afterwards and jot them down. Oh my gosh, that's a great one. That's a good one. He can talk. I can sing. Ooh, help me, Dr. Zaius. Okay, stop. I'm going to stop now. So many Simpson quotes are coming. Okay, so the automa took their very first turn. They got some points. Now it's time for us to take our first turn of the game. And I guess I wish I was really paying attention to, what I exactly want to do. But I'm thinking that I might actually come and I might actually do some exploring right off the bat, just to maybe get some resources for myself, so that I can spend some of those resources to get some more tiles onto my player board. And Armin says, having a lovely night and looking forward to watching you play will help me get to the table solo. Absolutely. The solo mode is so good. They did a really good job with the solo mode again here. Okay, so I'm going to take my level 2 bee here, and I'm going to do the explore action. It's way up there, way up there. And so that means I am actually going to be able to move the queen bee. I can actually move them 2 spaces now, and they have to move orthogonally, up, down, left, or right. And I think that I am going to... Oh man, that is gain 1 of each of those resources. That is actually too good to pass up. I think that I might actually just end up doing this. I'm going to go 1, 2 right here. And I'm going to grab this token here that is going to provide me with 1 of each of those resources. I'm going to take a water, pollen, and a fiber. And as long as I can hold them on my player mat, so yep, I can. I have enough spaces on my player mat here to hold them. And then I'm going to keep that token because I might come across a card or something like that that might refer to these tokens for points worth. And now I also get to flip over this planet tile here. Zingy is the planet. And so I'll get to, and notice that it has these couple blank boxes up at the top there. I actually get to fill one of those boxes with a resource. And I think that I'll fill it with a water. And so now I also gain a pollen and a, whoops, my bee is covering up. Now I'm actually also going to get a pollen and a water for visiting this planet. So I get a pollen and a water. And I don't have anywhere to store this extra pollen on my player board here. So I actually have to, since I can't store it, I actually have to get rid of it. But not at, I do get a small little benefit for being able to, for discarding these extra resources that I can't hold at the very, very, very bottom of the board down here. And I don't know if I can actually get, yeah, right here, way, 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 way down here. There's this, what's referred to as the Queen's Favor track. And for every resource that you can't hold at the end of your turn, you can actually advance once onto this track. And the farther down you go, the more points it's actually going to be worth. So right here is worth 1 point. But if I get all the way down to space number 25, that's actually worth 25 points at the end of the game. So there's something to be said about this Queen's Favor track at the very end of the game as well. Okay, so that was my turn. I went and I did the explore action and I explored that planet. Let's take a look at what the Automa is going to do on their turn now. Okay, so now it says yellow workers. So we're going to look at yellow workers this time. And it says, do they have 0 yellow workers? Nope, they still got a couple. Do they have a level 4 yellow worker? Nope, they sure do not. So they are now going to go and explore. And so they will explore with their 1, 2, or 3. And so they'll take their 3. They will bump us over. Put that up there. Oh gosh, that is really far away from me reaching on this one. I have to say that this is a very nice big board. It's very spacious, very easily readable for a lot of people. Just for solo play, and I'm trying to reach across the table here to get that. So they will actually get to also then, now they get to move 5 spaces, and we have to follow actually follow a pattern. Notice that there's this little S curve on the support card here, and we are going to move in that particular pattern. That would be like, would kind of be like winding their way around the board. So actually they will be moving, but they will move and they will stop at the nearest spot that actually has one of these tokens. So they're going to stop. They are going to take that token. That token is just going to be worth points for them at the end of the game, depending on the level that we chose. So we'll just store that on their player mat here. And they will also get to flip over that tile. And they will also get to add a resource to that tile. And the resource will state at the very bottom of their support card. So that planet, Caropia, Cariopa is you can gain 2 waters at that particular location. Okay, that is their turn. So now we're going to go on to our turn. And I think on our turn, we've got a lot of resources now. Maybe it's time to actually go and get some. Maybe let's get some more tiles. Let's do the advance action. Now I know that my workers are only level 1s each. So if I come up here to the advance action, I'll go 1 + 1, which is a 2, which means I can buy something in this very first column here. And maybe, what can I do? I can buy the botanist. Whenever you build a tile adjacent to me, gain a card. I don't have any wax, so I can't buy that, but I could buy myself a farm, which will give me, every time that I retrieve my workers, I get 2 points and a Queen's Favor bump up on their track. And it gives me another space to store pollen and fiber. That's pretty interesting. Let's see here. I wonder which one I want to do. Maybe I will buy the botanist. I think I'm going to buy the botanist. So I'm going to spend my 2 pollen here, and I'm going to pick up the botanist, and then I'm going to add it to my player board. And I think where I'm going to add it is to, maybe I will add it to, I'm going to add it right here and gain myself another level 1 worker. So I'll grab my other level 1 worker. So I've got all 4 of my workers unlocked so far right now. These ones are going to fill in. Whoops, doop, 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 and doop. So that was my turn. So now we're going to go on to the Automa's turn, which they'll flip over the next card. Do they have 0 yellow workers? No, they still have a yellow worker. Is it level 4? Nope. So they are going to explore again. Okay, so they're going to explore again, and they will use their level 1 worker, and it's going to come in. It's actually, we're going to do some bumping. I like this part. There's no action spaces that are actually ever blocked in this game. Everything is bumpable, just like in a game that I compare this to, which is Euphoria. So my bee is actually going to get bumped. This one comes over, and this one goes in place. And so my bee gets bumped, which means I have a couple options here. I can actually put it into my landing area, therefore it's not available to me. Or I can increase its level automatically to a 3, and it's now available for me to use on a future turn here. I am actually just going to increase it to a level 3, and I will add it to my active zone. So now they're going to get to move 4 spaces, and they have to follow this S curve starting up at the top here. So they're going to kind of go, and they're going to kind of move. They're going to move this way, gaining themselves another token. And this tile, which is going to hold a single resource, and that single resource will be a pollen. Where that be? And what are we still doing? Are we still doing bee puns out here? It's maybe. Unbelievably good choice. And Brad, thank you for joining on. I feel like they missed the opportunity to call Bumble. Nice. Bumble. They're bumbling all over the place. So that was okay. So that was the odd. See, I like it. That's how simple the Automa's turns can be. Now we're going to go on to us, and I'm thinking. I can do one of the. I think I might actually end up doing a research with my level 3. I'll come down here. I'm going to do the research action. And with that research action, now it's a level 3. I actually get to draw 3 cards I get to draw 3 cards. I get to look at them, and then I have to keep. Then I get to keep 1 and discard the rest. So I have one that says I can pay a resource to plant a different card from my hand. I can pay 3 resources to add an extension onto my hive. I believe they call them frames in this game. Or I can pay 3 resources to upgrade my faction tile. So instead of having to take the grow action in order to add frames or flip my faction tile, I can actually just, that's nice. Oh, or the seed ability is gain 6 points if I'm 15 or higher on the Queen's favor track. End game 3 points, end game 1 point per farm. I am actually looking at, I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to keep this card here for myself. Where is it? There it is. I'm going to keep that one. So I'll add that one to my hand. These other ones get discarded. And that was my action. Let's take a look at the Automa's action now. Do they have, we're looking at gray workers. Do they have 0 or 1 gray worker? Nope, they have 2. So do they have a level 4? Nope. So they are going to research. That is actually pretty good for us. So they're just going to take one of their level 2 workers. They are actually going to bump mine, which means that my level 3 now is going to become a level 4 that's available to use. And, so it's a level 2, and what do? They just get 2 victory points like this. It may seem like the Automa is gaining lots of points right now, and that is pretty much what they do. They get a lot of points throughout the game. They have very little end of game points, where we're going to have a lot of end of game points that we are going to end up scoring. So, okay, so now it is going to be my turn, and I got myself a level 4 worker, which means I can actually take a level 4 action. And got a level 4 action, and I could actually carve. I could actually get myself one of these end of game tiles right now. 4 points per planted card, 14 points if this is your only carving. I kind of got my ability so that, when I did my research, I forgot to get myself my 2 resources from my thing. I should actually do that right now before I take my next action, because I think I wanted another fiber and I wanted a pollen for this. Yeah. So I am going to Oh, wait, but I can't do the carve action because I don't actually have any honey just yet. I do get it at a 1 honey discount, and they all cost 2 honey. Oh, this one costs only 1 honey, so I can actually get this one for free. What is it? 8 points if this is adjacent to your faction tile, which it very well could be. So maybe I am going to grab that one for the 8 points that it is worth. So I'm going to take my level 4 worker here. I'm going to go to the carve action, and I will carve this one. It says costs 1 honey, but I get things at a 1 honey discount from my artisan, so this is actually free for me. And it says 8 points if this is adjacent to your faction tile. I am going to put it next to my faction tile, and I'm going to put it right here. And that's going to get me a water. Perfect. Love it, love it, love it. That is my action. Okay. On to the Automa turn. They are, okay, now let's say they're looking at gray workers. Do they have 0 gray workers? No. Is it a level 4 worker? No. So they are going to do the convert action. So they're going to take their worker and they are going to just put it on the convert space, and they are going to score 2 points for that. Okay, on to us. I feel like I still got workers. I got actually lots of level 1 workers that I kind of need to get upgraded a little bit. But I'm thinking, oh gosh, what should I do? I kind of need, maybe I should have used my level 4 to teach a dance. But I think I've got some resources here that I think I can do some convertings. I don't like it that I'm going to bump them out, but I feel like that's just the way that this game is going to play. So I'm going to take one of mine, and I'm actually going to bump him out. They're going to turn to a level 3, go into their active pool, and I am going to get to do, I guess I get to do one conversion. I get to do one conversion here. And what will that one conversion be? Maybe I should get another honey. Oh no, I don't have the 2 pollen. I could get myself a wax, and therefore, I could get myself a wax, and therefore I could actually get myself, maybe start getting some of those over here. Or maybe I should actually, maybe instead of doing converting, maybe I should actually buy myself another farm so that I can actually hold some more resources. That actually might be beneficial. So actually, instead of doing the convert action, I'm actually going to bump my worker down here, and we are going to do the advance action. 1 + 1 is 2, so I'm going to take one of these tiles, and I am going to take this top farm tile here for 1 fiber and 2 waters. And I'm going to add that to my faction mat. Now, I'm not going to cover up these ones because I'm not going to gain any more workers. So rather, I am actually just going to place that right here to gain myself another fiber. Whoop, and those ones are stuck together. Grab that one, another fiber. And I'm thinking, I'm just looking at my card here. I'm starting to run out of spaces, so I'm thinking I'm just going to hold on to that just for a little bit here. Just going to let that sit for a little bit. Let's just move these on down. Okay. Automa's turn. Got a feeling that they're going to recall their workers at some point in time. They're looking at gray workers, and it says, do they have 0 or 1? Yeah, they have only 1 gray worker, so they're going to recall they're going to retrieve all of their gray workers and get 2 points. So they're going to get this one back. It's going to turn into a 3. And they're going to get this one back. It's going to turn into a 4. Okay. That is that. So that's their turn. They don't do anything else. That was their activation of their particular card. So now we're going to come back down to us. We could do a retrieval because, yeah, I think I might actually do a retrieval here. I know I do have 1 more worker out there, but I'm thinking, I'm just looking at some other things. I'm looking around here. Kind of need some extra. I kind of need them to kind of go up in values a little bit here. Maybe. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. So new at this game. Yeah, I'm actually going to do a retrieval. So this guy's going to come back. He's going to turn into a 2. This guy's going to come back. He's going to turn into a 2. And this one, since it's a level 4, it's going to actually die off, and it's going to hibernate for me. And so therefore, I can actually put it onto this hibernation track down at the bottom here and gain myself a bonus. Now, what kind of bonus would I actually like? Would I like to take a honey, a wax? You know, a honey would actually be good. It means I can get another one of these, and I don't actually have to do a conversion for it. Yeah, why not? I'm actually going to come over here, and I'm going to grab myself a honey. I'm going to put that onto my player board here, where I have some room for some honey. And that was my retrieval, and then I can also activate my farm. I get 2 points for that, and I also get a bump up on this Queen's Favorite track, and now I've earned myself a victory point at the end of the game. And as long as I can get farther and farther and farther, I'll be able to get more. Alrighty, well, okay, that was my turn. Let's take a look at what the Automa is going to do, and they are going to look at their yellow workers. Do they have 0 or 1 yellow workers? Yep, so they're going to retrieve their yellow workers and score themselves 2 points. And I think their only 2 are just up here. So that 3 is going to turn into a 4, and that 1 is going to turn into a 2. And that's their turn. Okay, well, what am I going to do with all of my little lovelies now? Now I got level 2s up there. I've got a bunch of resources again. Maybe. Grab another farm. Do I grab another one of these guys? Don't get any discounts. Oh, when I placed that farm, I should have got myself a seed card. I missed that. Because whenever I build something next to this, the botanist, I actually should gain a seed card. So I should actually take a look at that. Convert 2 resources into a wax. Or at the end of the game, it's an extra 3 points for every one of my yellow carving tiles. Well, that's pretty interesting too. I should actually try to get these planted. But I think I'm going to take a level 2 for my turn, and I'm going to do a grow action. And since it's a level 2, I can use 2 strength of it, and I can spend 2 resources. And I think my 2 resources I think I'm going to use is a fiber and a pollen. I'm going to use a fiber and a pollen. And I'm going to put one of these tiles back onto my mat here, and I think that I am just going to place it right here. Is going to be a good place. And now if I can get that filled in, that's going to be an extra 8 points. You also get an extra 8 points if you fill in your entire original faction mat too. So that's a good source of points as well. Okay, so that was my grow action. Let's take a look at what the Automa is going to do. Okay, so they don't have those. They are looking at gray. They do have a level 4 gray worker, so they are going to carve. So they're going to go here. They're going to grab themselves a carving tile. And we have to follow the pattern starting in the bottom portion here. And they're going to work their way this way. And so they will grab it says carve 1. So they're just going to move 1 space. They will grab this tile away from us, which is not one that we really wanted anyways, because this needed to be the only tile in it. You'll just flip these over and they are just going to be worth, on this faction mat here, it says that they are worth 7. This tile is worth 7 points at the end of the game for them. Much better than the 14. Yeah. Okay, that is their turn. So now we're going to go on to our turn. And I believe we should maybe do an nope, am I exploring? Should I explore? My goodness gracious. There are so many things that you could possibly do in this game. Let's go with, I think I'm going to take my level 2 here, and I think I'm going to explore. So I'll put my B up there, and that means I get to move 2 spaces. And I think the 2 spaces, I think I am just going to go, should I just go 1, grab 2? I can grab 2 cards. Grab a water, I could grab 2 fiber, I could grab 2 Queen's Favor bumps on this bottom track, which actually doesn't seem terrible actually right now. 1, 2, I'll take those 2 Queen Favor bumps along the bottom here. I'm up to 2 points now at the end of the game, and let's see what kind of tile we have, and it's Nolia, and it's got room for 1 resource. Which resource would I like to gain at this moment? And maybe that resource I will gain is a pollen. So I'll put pollen on there, and I will gain myself a pollen. Alrighty. That was my turn. Let's see what the Automa's going to do. Do they have 0 yellow workers? Nope, they got some. Do they have a level 4? They sure do. They have that yellow level 4, so they are going to carve 2. So they are going to bump their own out. So this guy is going to go away. Now for them, when they go away, they actually come straight back, and there's a little difficulty setting. We've set it that they come back at a level 2. And they also get to put down a hibernation token. And they'll put a hibernation token into the area that will kind of, you know, get them the most. If they were to score right now, they would score the most points. I think that right now would be this column right here, because we would actually have to split the 7 and the 2. So they will just come in, they will just cover up that wax area right there. And since they put the level 4 down, they're going to carve. They're going to carve 2, and we have to follow the S-curve. So they're going to start in the top corner here, and they're going to go 1, 2. They are going to get this one, which is one I actually had my eye on. It says score 4 points for every of those extra tiles you get. But that is that. I guess that'll be that for them. Okay. Well then. My turn. I still got my level 1 dude. And I think I shall. Kind of do need an extra pollen. Kind of wish I did. Why not? I'm just actually going to go up here. I'm going to explore, or do it. No, I can do, every time that I research, I can get 2 resources of my choice. So I'm going to take my level 1 here. I'm going to do the research action. I'm going to draw 1 card and keep 1 card. Oh, I can pay a resource to get an extra turn. Place a second bee on my turn. That is actually really quite nice. And I also get, because of my herbalist ability, I actually get 2 resources of my choice. So I'm going to actually take a pollen. And I'm actually going to take, since I need any reason, I need to take a water as well. Okay, let's see if this guy can bump me at all and anything like that. We're looking at gray workers. Do they have 0 gray workers? Nope. They're not carving, so they are just going to do the advance action. So they are going to be putting their level 3 worker down. Boom, up at the top there. And since they're putting their level 3 worker down, they are going to gain it says they're going to gain a farm tile and a development tile. And those are also going to be worth points for them at the end of the game. And also whenever they take this advance action, they also wipe out the other 2 tiles in that area. I'm just going to read that once more, because I'm pretty sure that's how I've been playing it. When they do their advance action, I'm just going to go do. Yep. Auto takes 1 farm, and she'll also gain any additional tiles depending on their strength. For each tile type that the automa gains, remove the tiles from the leftmost and middle column, placing them. Yeah, so those 2 will also get, and then these rows are going to get refilled. Do. And I guess I also probably should mention, since some things are already starting to flow, and when does the game actually end? Well, the game will end once these hibernation areas are full, or if a player has placed all of their hibernation tokens, will be when these things actually go. So that is that. Okay. My turn. Well, none of my guys got bumped, so I actually have to do a retrieve. Yep, I actually have to do a retrieve action here. So this guy's going to come back, put up to a 2. This one's going to turn into a 3. This one's also going to turn into a 3. I have 1 farm I can activate. I can get 2 points, and I also get a bump up on the Queen Favor track. That is my turn. So let's take a look at what they're going to do now. They are going to, do they have 0 or 1 gray worker? Nope. They are not carving, so they are just going to do a research action. So they will take their level 3 worker, come down here, and gain 3 points. Just like that. And oh, sorry, Vincent, I missed your question here. It says, can you add more resources spot in your ship, or are you stuck at the 8? That is with these green farm tiles. If I highlight here, these green farm tiles can hold more resource spots for us. So I keep forgetting that, yeah, I can actually hold an extra pollen or fiber. All of the green farm tiles can actually allow you to store more certain types of resources for yourself. Okay, so they just did the research action. I guess it's on to us now, and I think I can actually grab myself. I can grab myself any tile I want. Yeah, I guess any tile that I want from the advance action. Or, sure, yeah. Okay, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take my 3, or one of my 3s. I'm going to bump him down. So then it's 3 plus 3, which is 6, which means I can grab any one of these tiles. And I'm looking at... I don't have the 2... I don't have... What, that one's upside down. I don't have the 2 wax... Actually, I don't have any wax. Actually, I have the 2 pollen for the insurer. And I also have, 1 fiber, 2 water for that one. I can hold an extra wax or honey if I wanted it. That would actually be pretty good, because then on my income phase, whenever I actually have to retrieve my workers again, which I've been doing a little bit of, seems like we're kind of in that flow. Yeah, maybe I can ensure whenever you hibernate, gain 2 points. That doesn't seem so... Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to spend 1 fiber and 2 water to grab this tile, and I'm going to add it to my farm. And I am going to place it... I'm actually going to place it right here to get myself a card. Actually, it would actually get me 2 cards from my botanist ability. From my botanist ability, I actually get a card, and I'm covering a card, so I actually get 2 cards for this particular action. So there we go. I'm going to gain those 2 seed cards right now. Let's take a look at what we got. Oh, I can just take 3 bumps on the Queen Favor track. That's actually really quite fun. I can place... I can add or subtract 1 value strength to one of my workers. Oh, that is juicy as well. Dang. Okay, I've got some options here. And yeah, so then that's going to get refilled. I'm just actually going to take a look here. Do I actually want to use any of these cards? Actually, no, this one. I definitely, for sure, I'm using this one here to get 3 bumps on the 3 bumps on the Queen Favor track, because that would be very handy. I'm going to keep this one around because I'm hopefully that I'm going to get to plant this card at some point in time, so that I can, yeah, so that I can actually do that. I'm just going to make sure that I am following that icon. I'm pretty sure that meant draw. Yeah, draw. There's no icons that let you plant cards. The only way that you can plant cards is by using this or any other, like maybe a card ability. Okay, so that is, I guess that was my turn. So if I want to pay a resource to put down a second dude, ooh. Do a second. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, because I'm actually going to do it this way. I'm actually going to pay. I'm going to pay a resource to play a second dude. I'll pay a pollen. I'm going to put down my 3, And I'm actually going to use this card to increase that 3 into a 4. So I'm going to take a 4 leveled action. And I believe my 4 leveled action is going to end up being... Yeah, I think my 4 level action is going to end up being the... Oh no, do I want to do the grow or do I want to carve? Oh my gosh. Or do I want to convert? Oh, convert would be... those are not that... Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could actually... Oh my gosh, I could actually do that. Yeah, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do the explore. I know it's not going to be a while. It's going to be a while before he hibernates, but hear me out on this one. So I'm going to put the 4 up there, which means I actually get the 4. I get to move him 4, and then I also get to do a 4 level strength planet. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and here I get a pollen and a water. I wanted that pollen anyways. Get a pollen and a water. And my level, since I have a level 4 worker there, it says I get to teach 1 dance and use it twice. So I get to come down here and I get to teach a dance. And teaching a dance actually means that I get to choose how I want to do the conversion here. So I got all of the major resources in the game here. So I could actually, maybe I could spend... I seem to come across water quite a bit. Maybe if I decide I want to, you know, spend a water and a... let's say I spend a water and a fiber. No, I don't have any fiber right now. A water and a pollen. If I spend a water and a pollen, I can get 1 point and a wax. Now I can use this particular conversion twice now, but I can actually only just do it once. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to boom, boom. I'm going to grab myself a wax and store it on here. And yep, that was that. I used that. Oh, and I get a victory point for that. Also, you get to take one of your little cubies and you get to put it on there saying, hey, you taught the dance. Now, since the Automa player doesn't actually ever use the dances or use resources or anything like that, we get a one-time benefit, because since that teaching those dances is usually the little bit of a player interaction in the game, because now if somebody ever used this particular conversion, we would always get a Queen's Favor point. But since we did the dance, where it is here, if you teach the dance, you immediately receive a one-time benefit of 4 Queen Favor bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. So automatically getting all the way up to there. So we're at space 12 right now, and I do have my card here that I want to get planted at some point in time, that if I get 15 or higher, I can actually get an extra 6 points. So I really, really, really want to do that. Okay, that was my extra long turn that, yep, just an extra long turn. Do they have 0 yellow workers? Nope, they have a yellow worker. Is he level 4? Nope. So rather, they are just going to do an advance. And so they are putting their level 2 worker in. So this guy gets bumped to a level 4. And they put down a level 2. So they are going to grab a farm and a recruit and add those to their tableau. These ones get discarded. And everything's going to fill. Yep. And whoa boy, tiles flying. Tiles are flying. Okay, there we go. And there we go. Whoops, upside down. Okay. Okay, that was their turn. Let's do mine. I got a level 2 worker left. So why not? I am going to... Okay, I got that 1 pollen. Ah, perfect. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to come do an advance action again. My guy gets bumped here. Since he was a level 3, he's now going to turn into a level 4. And 2 plus 2 is 4, so I can actually take any one of these ones. I am going to spend my 1 pollen to take this, the cartographer, which every time I take the explore action, I am going to gain an extra resource. And I think that I am going to put this particular, I'm actually going to put them up here and grab myself another card. Pay 1 pollen to gain a worker. Okay, not the super handiest. And that was that. Do I have this? Nope. Do I want this? Nope. Okay, not going to do any of my cards. Okay, so now the Automa is going to take their turn. Okay, do they have, they're looking at yellow workers. They have 0 or 1 yellow workers. Yeah, they have 0 or 1, so they're going to retrieve and gain 2 points. 1, 2. So this 4 is going to hibernate, come back as a 2. And this one's going to increase to a 3. But they are going to hibernate, and that means they are going to come down to this location down here, because right now that would give them majority, and they would therefore take the most points. Okay, so that is theirs. So now we have a level 4 worker. Oh boy, should I do a carve? I'm just looking at what the thing is. 2 points per farm. I got 2, so that's worth 4 points at the end of the game. This one's worth plant. Actually, I do want to plant a card. I do actually want some of these cards to get planted. So, but I also kind of need some. I also need to get some things going elsewhere. So I think, okay, I'm going to take the level 4. And I am going to. Sure. We're going to do the. Yeah, we're going to do the research action. That's going to bump them, turn them to a level 4, unfortunately. So first, I get to look at 4 cards and keep 1 of them. So this is going to take a bit. Discard any tile from your hive to gain 3 points. Recollect 1 of your explore tokens. That might be. Activate 2 different abilities on your farms. Okay. Teach 1 dance. If you haven't taught a dance, then you may use its conversion once. Okay, that's interesting. No. This might be this one actually be my best bet. The activate 2 different abilities on your farms. And then I'll just go, whoa, no. The cards went everywhere. I don't even know how that happened. Discard those. I get to plant a card. And the card that I'm going to plant is, first off, as I'm going to plant this one, is if I get to 15 or higher, I get an extra 6 points at the end of the game. So I'll just plant that right there. And I am going to spend this card to activate 2 different farm abilities on my tableau. So I got 1 farm ability that gets me 2 points. 1, 2. And a queen favor. And my other farm ability is I get 2 points and a queen's favor. Gonna just kind of keep it close like that, I think. Okay. Now my other thing that I do need to do is I do need to get this flipped at some point in time. So let's take a look at what the Automa is going to do. And oh my goodness gracious, this is going to be their last card. So I actually have to shuffle. Here. Snazu. Welcome, Snazu. I just got here and I have no clue what's going on. Hi, everybody. Yep. We are playing Apiary from Stonemaier Games. We are just putting out our space bees to get resources and hopefully convert everything. Ooh, that should have been refilled. I didn't realize I didn't do that. and hopefully get more points than our robot opponent. Okay, so this one says we're going to look at the yellow worker. 0 or 1. Nope. No carving. That's okay. But they are going to do converting. So they're going to take this down to the convert action. Boom, right there. And they will score themselves 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Now, it is our turn, and we are all out of workers at the moment. Oh, dear goodness gracious. So I have to do a retrieval. So this guy's going to come back and do it become a 3. But look at this. I have 2 level 4 workers that need to come back, so they are both going to hibernate on me. So I'm going to actually get to put 2 folks into the hibernation chambers. So I can actually lock in my 7 points here on this hibernation track, which I think I will do. I'm going to I'm actually going to gain 2 resources of my choice, and this symbol here meant I gotta look at the high because I gotta look at the book here under hibernation comb, because there are some abilities there that I can't remember what the X means. I think it might mean discard. I think it might actually just mean discard the recruit row. I am just looking at when my workers decide to hibernate. There we go. Includes a number of pods grouped into sectors. Several pods have the benefit of refreshing the tile row when they advance. If you fail such a pod, you must discard all tiles in the indicated row. So yes, so this one says I have to discard all of the recruit tiles and refresh it. But I also get 2 resources of my choosings. And I'm thinking the 2 basic resources of my choosings are going to be, I'm going to grab a couple pollens, because every one of these blue tiles is going to be worth points for me at the end of the game. And so these guys are all gone. So I now need to I only have 1 worker now, and I need to get them back. Oh, dear goodness gracious. Okay, well, it's on to the Automa's turn, and we're looking at gray workers. Do they have 0 or 1? Nope. Do they have a level 4? Absolutely, they have a level 4. So they are going to carve twice, starting in the bottom corner here. So they're going to go 1, 2, and they're going to grab that tile right there. It's not great because those yellow tiles are worth a lot of points for them at the end of the game. Okay. Well, we're on to us. We only have 1 level 3 worker. I could pay a pollen to grab another worker, but I'm thinking I should just probably use them to do the advance action. And I could grab any one of these. I can make these tiles cheaper for me, but that actually might not be bad. Actually, gain a wax for every recruit you have. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could gain 4 waxes, even though I could only hold 1 of them. That's actually really, really funny. Those, like, when you do the retrieve, collect 1 additional that. Whenever you build a farm adjacent to him, they're not actually that great for me, other than they're just going to be worth points for me at the end of the game at this point. So why not? Yeah, I'm going to pay my 2 pollen, and I'm going to grab the engineer. Why not? And I'm actually going to cover up this spot to gain myself a level 1 worker. And I don't think that I am doing any of these extras. So it is on to our Automa turn. And do they have 0 yellow workers? Nope. Is it a level 4? Nope. So they are just going to do the explore action. Oh boy. Yeah, there we go. So they're going to explore with 2 in this particular pattern. So they're going to kind of go, they need to start there, and they're going to walk their way around this way. So they're going to go 1, 2, and that is it. They can't get to another thing, so that is all they have. That's all they're allowed to do. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, well, oh, forgot to replenish. I forgot to gain my resource from my explore action, so that actually could help me out quite a bit. What if I gained a... well, let's just gain another pollen. I'm going to gain another pollen for that one, just so that when I do my... well, why not? I can actually do it this way, can't I? Yeah. I'm going to take my level 1. I'm going to do the advance action again. And I get a pollen for it, for doing the advance action. And I'm actually going to spend my 2 pollen that I just got here, and I'm going to build another one of these guys. So I am actually going to use this one right here. And I will put you right here to grab another level 1 worker. Just like that. That one says when I can carve with a level 3 worker instead of a level 4 worker now. So that is actually going to be really quite, I hope, quite handy for me in the late stage of this game, because we are almost done. We are almost done here. Let's do the automaton. And they are, do they have 0 yellow work? Yeah, they have 0 yellow workers, so they're going to recall them and give themselves 2 points. And where are their yellow workers? This one's going to come up to a level 4, and that one's going to come up to a level 3. Okay, well, what shall I do? I am going to... I really need to get that done here. So I'm going to do the advance action. I'm just going to do a lot of advancing here. Bump, bump, bump. This guy's going to turn into a 4. Just like that. And I can take one of these tiles. I think I am going to spend my wax. I think I'm just going to spend my wax. Whoops. Spend my wax here. I'm going to take this tile just because it's worth 2 points at the end of the game. I am going to just continue filling this up here. Yeah, I'm just going to continue filling this up here, and it says gain wax for every. So I can actually gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could actually gain 6 wax if I could hold it, but I can only. Okay, well, I gain 6 wax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I gain 6 wax. I can only hold 2 of them. Right there and there. These extra 4 that I can't gain, I actually gain a queen's favor for each of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. That is also really quite handy because that's just bumping me now. These are all just worth points now. Every queen's favor is an extra point at the end of the game for me now. So as long as I can gain some of those. Plus that gave me my level 4 worker over yonder. So, okay, here we go. This guy is going to 0 or 1 gray worker. Nope. Is there a level? Yeah, there's a level 4. Oh my gosh, there's another level 4 gray worker. Gonna carve once. It's gonna take that one. Oh, and it's gonna bump out one of their guys. So he's gonna hibernate, turn into a 2. And they got to take a hibernation token, and they are just going to start covering up these spots. So there's only room for 2 more hibernations here. Oh my gosh. I'm running out of time in this game. I do need to get this mat flipped over, and that means I have to assign a level 4 worker over here, which then I don't have any of the resources to do any of the extra things. Args. Well, at least I actually have a couple cards in my hand still that I can actually use as those resources. I think that is what I'm going to do then. I'm going to take my level 4 worker here. I'm going to do the grow action. Level 4 also upgrade faction tile. So I'm going to take my faction tile here and I'm going to flip it over. So now I get 2 points for every recruit blue tile in my hive. And then I can use 2 strength here. I don't even know if I should do it at this point. Is add on another one of those extensions onto my board here. I don't even know if I should do that. Okay, I think that is what I will. Oh, but that actually would have been. Oh, I should. Oh no, but then I'm just never gonna get that flipped over because I just need the level 4. I needed to get that flipped over. I needed that one to be flipped over to get some extra points at the end of the game here. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough end of game points to get this guy, but let's just see what I can do to stop him. Okay, let's see what the next thing is. We're looking at gray workers. They don't have any level 4s. They have more than 0, so they're going to do a convert action for 2 points. 1, 2. And we are going to take our turn. We have to retrieve. So these guys are going to turn into 2s. This guy's going to hibernate on me. Whoops. So this one's going to hibernate on me. So I get to take a hibernation token. And, do I just take a queen's favorite? Do I get anything for hibernating? No, I don't think so. But I'm pretty sure that I forgot to grab some of my abilities here at some point in time. But that is okay. Which, I probably just forgot to activate some of my tiles. But that is, the way things go. Get a queen's favor, which is only just giving me a 1 point advantage, or I can take 2 points. Actually, I think I'll just come here. I'm just going to take 2 points because 2 points is 2 points. Almost the name of the game, but the name of the game is Apiary. Okay. Now it is their turn, and do they have 0 gray workers? No, they still have gray worker. Is it level 4? Nope. So they are going to do a grow action. So they'll put that down, and they will grow for 2 points. Like that. Okay, so then I still get to do something here. Take 3 face up and add them to your reserve. Only you may build them. That's actually pretty interesting, and it's worth 4 points at the end of the game. I really wish there was just more ways to plant our cards at the in. That was one thing that I read, and maybe I need to reread the rule book or something like that. But I really wish that there was another way to plant seed cards other than just using this level 4 action down here. I feel like there should have been another way to do it, but I think I might have missed. I think I just might have missed it, but oh well. Just because there's so much room to do planted cards in this on your faction mats, but maybe there's there's abilities that allow you to actually, because from my icons, it doesn't look like there's many ways to actually do the planting action. Okay, besides the point, let me. What am I going to do with those level 2? Well, no, well, okay, yeah. So Tyler's here saying, can you advance to fill your hive? That's actually not a bad idea. It would have been beneficial if I could actually, if I had some pollen to do to grab me a blue tile. But putting somebody in there is actually worth 8 points for me. So it's actually probably something I should look at doing. And I can. If I actually had room for it, I could actually do crop rotation, which actually get me more farms. Oh, wait, when I recalled my workers, I didn't take my farm bonuses, did I? No, when I recalled those two workers, I should have activated those 2 farms. I should have actually gotten 2 more bumps on the queen's favor, and I should have actually gotten 4 more points to get me up to 17. I knew I maybe forgot something there. Tyler, you talked me into it. I'm going to do a advance action. And I am going to advance, and I am going to take this apiculture tile because I can build, or I can do these. I can advance for 1 less wax. I only need to spend 1 wax in order to take that. It is worth 4 points for me. And if I put it right here, I actually get to, that's actually going to be worth more. That's going to be worth 8 more points at the end of this game. And it says I get to take 3 face-up tiles and add them to my reserve, and only I may end up building them. So I don't know. Let's take. I don't know. Let's say like I'm going to take this one, I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to take this one. I don't know. I'll add those face up to me because really have no idea, because it's so late in the game. We only have 1 hibernation spot left over. Only have 1 hibernation spot left over, so we're coming right down to the nitty-gritty here. Let's take a look at what the Automa is going to do on their turn. Do they have? They're looking at gray workers. Do they have 0 or 1 gray? They have 0 gray workers, so they are going to retrieve them for 2 points. And so this is going to turn into a 3. This one's going to turn into a 3. This one's going to hibernate, returning back to as a 2. So they're going to take a hibernation token and fill in the last spot, which now that triggers the end of the game. So we each, the person who triggers the end of the game, everybody gets 1 more turn, including the person that triggered. So the Automa gets 1 more turn. I get 1 more turn, and the Automa gets 1 more turn. And I don't know what I'm going to do with my 1 level 2 worker. I really don't know what I'm going to do with that level 2 worker because I don't have any more room to put down any tiles. Resources aren't really worth anything at the end of... They're not worth much at the end of the game, if I want to say so myself. Yeah, no, leftover resources aren't really a thing at the end of this game, so I am just going to... What can I get any extra little anythings along the way? I guess if I retrieved my worker, I could activate one of my I can activate one of my farms. That would actually get me something as well. Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't actually get to do my carve. I didn't actually do that extra carving, so this is not... I don't have any extra pollen. Well, actually I do have a... No, I don't think that this is actually any beneficial to me. So I think I'll just do a retrieve. I'll just retrieve my 1 worker, turn him to a 3, and I'll activate 1 tile here, and I'll get 2 points and a bump up on the Queen's Favorite track, which actually also gets me 2 points. A 2-point increase for that. That's the end of the game. So now we're going to go straight into final scoring here, and my oh my, the Automa person here, they are going to do a lot of... They got a lot of tiles here. And they got a lot of these yellow tiles. They got 4 of them. And 4 at 7 apiece, that's 28 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 20 is 56. My goodness. They got 2 farm tiles. That's 2 points for them. They got a recruit tile. That's another 2 points for them. And they got a development tile, and that's 3 points for them. 1, 2, 3. They got these tokens. They got these yellow tokens, which on this difficulty are worth 3 points each. So that's another 6 points for them. 1, 2, 5, 6. And farm that. And they got 2 points for having second majority here. And they get 3 points for having majority here. So they end up with a score of 74 points. They scored 74 points. So now we have to add up all of our stuff. So let's take a look here. Let's do, let me here. I filled my hive. That's 8. I filled that extension. That's another 8. So that is 16 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 15, 16. You're behind a lot, Vincent says. Okay, my tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points. So 1, 2, and 10 is 47. Making a small comeback here. My carving tile here is worth 8 points because it's next to my faction tile here. So that's another 8 points. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up to 55. Did I meet my planted card? Yes, I made at least 15, so that's another 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Closing the gap. My position on the Queen's favorite track, I am at 21. That's another 15 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 15 is 76. There we go. My faction ability, 2 points per recruit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's another 12 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. And I also got 7 points from this majority here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was definitely way better score than I got when I played this. On the weekend from my. I was worried here for a bit for the Automa player, but we walloped them 95-74 at this point. And that was playing on the level 3. Whoops, that is not the Automa book. That is not, no, this was the Automa book. Yeah, that was level 3 difficulty. Yeah, level 3 difficulty. Level 4 difficulty, next one. The real big difference is that whenever they retire their workers come back at a level 3 instead of at a level 2 is the big difference there. And then the expert mode, if once you get into levels 5 and 6, the expert mode, the tiles that they gain are just worth that many more points for them as well. So perhaps I can, maybe now that I got this, maybe I can bump this up a little bit to maybe another higher difficulty. But overall, that is how Apiary looks and works out for us. Chat, how is it looking? How is this looking? I'm looking at just kind of looking at my chat here, looking that says, I believe in you. Stole my line. It looks good. You make them look like the B team. Looks like a great solo game. Actually, it's actually not that bad. You're really going to get a little bit more out of this if you have actually playing with some players. You got that player interaction, that bumping of people happens happens a lot more often. From what I can gather is that the bumping of the people works more often. Over here, that the exploring, I found myself kind of like in the end game there. I should have done some exploring to get myself some more resources, but I felt like I could have just done the actions that I was taking was a little bit more beneficial than doing the exploring. Exploring happens quite a bit more in a multiplayer game, I'm going to assume, because we only explored a few planets out of the minis, and like I said, there is a stack of 20 of these faction tiles, and they all do something a little bit different. Like this one says, you start the game with 3 of these seed cards. That's pretty good. This guy starts with all of his workers right off the bat and a bunch of resources too. That's actually really good too. What else we got going on here? Whenever you retrieve, you get to collect an additional farm income. What is this one here? It says once per worker placement. If you move an opponent's worker, you get to convert a resource into another resource. Whenever an opponent moves one of your workers, you gain a queen's favor. Like, man, whenever you explore, just get another resource. This one actually just lets you to reserve 3 lightning development tiles and 3 carving tiles. You get to reserve them. Converting 3 resources into a honey. Double all the point values on all adjacent tiles to this one. Like, man, whenever you acquire your 4th worker, get 3 resources. Man, there's just like there's so many of them in there. Question here. It says it looks like a great and solo. I would look to try. Someone in my group has it, and I hope to get hopefully you get to play it. Vincent says he's going to add it to his wish to play list. Yeah, if you have an opportunity, definitely take a look at it. Snazoo says, how long did it take you to learn all of the rules? This one, it didn't actually take too long. I am guilty. I did watch a video ahead of time. One of my recent favorite YouTube channels for solo plays is Tabletop for One. Daniel Anderson and his channel just released a solo play. I just watched that on the weekend right before this. Watching that video and doing a read of the rules, I think I had this game down pat. There's a lot of the little things that I kept forgetting about, which was just activating some of my little tiles, but overall, just watching, I watched that one video and I read the rules. So I don't know, watched the video on double speed and then I read the rules. I don't know, just over an hour and a half before I myself maybe was comfortable enough to play the game without actually really referring to the rules all that much, really. So yeah, it really, and plus a lot of these things, like I said, a lot of this felt familiar with, say, like Euphoria, which was bumping workers, being able to bump your workers. When your workers got bumped, though, you got to increase their values. I really liked that aspect of it. The automa cards are really easy to use. Really, just do it top to fulfill that. Look at this card, and can you fulfill whatever you can fulfill top to bottom here? You just do that particular action, and again, the actions are so wonderfully laid out, and they just gain points. They just get points left, right, and center on that. And you can see, it stayed pretty competitive there for a bit there, because they did score 74 points by the end of the game, while we scored 95 points by the end of the game. So Tyler here says, I think any game that has Automa Factory is a huge buying point for me after seeing their stuff. Yeah, Automa Factory, they are doing some amazing stuff. Their solo modes, so good. Really enjoy what they can do. Every Stonemaier production is going to have one of them, so yeah. Yes, I will agree with that. Perfect. Well, I'm taking a look at the time. It's starting to get a little bit on the later end of the evening for me here. That has been a couple of hours on this stream, so I thank everybody for being able to join me on this solo playthrough of Apiary. Hopefully you got a good sense of how the game works and plays. Maybe you want to seek it out for yourselves. If you do, please hit me up on my social media accounts. I am very active on Threads and Blue Sky at the moment. Little bit on Instagram. You'll see me post some pictures. Actually, I posted some pictures of Apiary over the weekend when I play. I do have Facebook. I have Mista Rau's gaming page on there where I do post all of this stuff. So if you're still active in that realm. But I am no longer on the platform that is formerly known as Twitter. I have dumped that dumpster fire and I have not looked back. I am just 100% A-okay with how that has ended. So have yourself a great night, Rachel. Yes, thank you for stopping on by here. You are welcome, Snazoo. Thanks for showing us what it's all about. Absolutely, that's what the purpose of this channel is, just to show off a whole bunch of different games. Coming up this Thursday, I do have my Pandemic Fall of Rome video coming out, so please look forward to that gameplay. And yes, Tyler, I will hopefully see you next week when we play some Reckland Run from Renegade Games. I am absolutely pumped to play that game again. So you're welcome for the game, Vincent. Thank you for joining me as always. And everybody, have yourselves a great night. If you haven't done so already, put a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and the notification bell is there if you want to get notified every Tuesday night when I go live and whenever I release new videos. All right, folks, we need those thumbs. It's the free way to support the channel. It's the absolute 100% free way. Thumbs, comments, subscribers, all of those things happen. All right, folks, have yourself a great evening. I'll see you next time. Cheers.